Sir David Ochterlony, first and last Baronet of Pitforthy. First Baronet of Ochterlony GCB was a Massachusetts-born general of the East India Company in British India. He held the powerful post of British Resident to the Mughal court at Delhi. Biography. David Ochterlony was born in Boston, Massachusetts, and attended the Dhamma Charity School in nearby Byfield, Massachusetts. In 1777, he went as a cadet to India, where he served under Lord Lake in the battles of Coil, Aligarh and Delhi, and was appointed resident at Delhi in 1803. In 1804, having been promoted to the rank of Major General, he defended the city with a very inadequate force against an attack by Yashwantrao Holkar. On the outbreak of the Anglo-Nepalese War, he was given the command of one of 4 converging columns, and his services were rewarded with a baronetcy created on the 7th of March 1816. Subsequently he was promoted to the command of the main force in its advance on Kathmandu, and outmaneuvering the Gurkhas by a flank march at the Kauria Ghat Pass, brought the war to a successful conclusion and obtained the signature of the Treaty of Sugarsley, which dictated the subsequent relations of the British with Nepal. For this success Ochterlony was created Knight Grand Cross of the Order of the Bar, the first time that honour had been conferred on an officer of the British military in India. In the Pandari War he was in command of the Rajputana column, made a separate agreement with Amir Khan, detaching him from the Pindaris, and then interposing his own force between the 2 main divisions of the enemy, brought the war to an end without an engagement. He was appointed resident in Rajputana in 1818, with which the residency at Delhi was subsequently combined, and during this period encountered and engaged in an ongoing personal feud with James Todd, which was based most likely on the power politics within the hierarchy of the East India Company. When Urgent Sal revolted in 1825 against Balwant Singh, the infant Raja of the princely state of Bharatpur, Ochterlony, acting on his own responsibility, supported the Raja by proclamation and ordered out a force to support him. However, the Governor-General of India, Lord Amherst, repudiated these proceedings. Ochterlony, who was bitterly chagrined by this rebuff, resigned his office, and retired to Delhi. The feeling that the confidence which his length of service merited had not been given him by the Governor-General is said to have accelerated his death, which occurred at Meerut in 1825, where he is interred in St. John's Church. The Ochterlony column at Calcutta commemorates his name. Private life. As the official British resident at Delhi, David Ochterlony adopted and thoroughly embraced Persian Mughal culture. He was reputed to have 13 Indian concubines or wives. Every evening, he used to take all 13 of his wives on a promenade around the walls of the Red Fort, each on the back of her own elephant. Mubarak Begum. The most prominent among Ochterlony's women was Bibi Maharatan Mubarak Al-Nisa Begum, a former Brahmin dancing girl from Pune who had converted to Islam. Nicknamed Generally Begum, she was Ochterlony's favorite and the mother of his youngest children. As such, she took clear precedence over the rest of the household. She was considered to be a devout Muslim, having once applied for leave to make the Hajj to Mecca. Although much younger than Ochterlony, Mubarak was seen as the dominant personality in the relationship. This led one observer to remark that making Sir David the Commissioner of Delhi was the same as making Generally Begum. Another observer remarked that Ochterlony's mistress is the mistress now of everyone within the walls. As a result of her influence, Ochterlony considered raising his children as Muslims, and when his 2 daughters by Mubarak Begum had grown up, He adopted a child from the family of the Nawabs of Lohar, one of the leading Muslim families of Delhi. Raised by Mubarak, the girl went on to marry her cousin, a nephew of the famous Urdu poet Mirza Ghalib. Mubarak even seems to have set herself up as a power in her own right and to have formed her own independent foreign policy. At one point, it was reported that Mubarak Begum, alias Generally Begum, fills the papers with accounts of the nazars and kilats given and taken by her in her transactions with the Vakwals, an extraordinary liberty, if true. However, in spite of all her power and high status, Mubarak Begum was widely unpopular among the British and the Mughals alike. She offended the British by calling herself Lady Ochterlony, and on the other hand, also offended the Mughals by awarding herself the title Qudsiya Begum, a title previously reserved for the emperor's mother. After Ochterlony's death, she inherited Mubarak Bagh, an Anglo-Mughal garden tomb Ochterlony had built in the north of Old Delhi. But her intense unpopularity combined with her background as a dancing girl ensured that no Mughal gentleman would use her structure. To this date, the tomb is still referred to by the local inhabitants of the old city as the Rundiki Masjid. Descendants. Ochterlony had at least 6 natural children by 2 or more of his concubines. Roderick Peregrine Ochterlony, of Delhi, only son. He married 1808 Sarah Nelly, the daughter of Lt. Colonel John Nelly of the Bengal Engineers, at Allahabad, India. Roderick and Sarah Ochterlony had 3 children. A daughter, Charlotte Ochterlony, died in 1835, who succeeded his grandfather by special remainder in 1825. He married 1844 a Miss Sarah Tribe of Liverpool, and had descendants 3 sons and 2 daughters. This creation became extinct on the death of the 5th Baronet in 1964. Charlotte Ochterlony, a daughter